What's up? What's going on, everybody? So, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun one, just because I don't think people have really thought about this. And there's what is this? Write like a pro on the web. Oh, something I downloaded is giving me ads. I got to get rid of it. Whatever that is, find it, eliminate it, get rid of it. It's not necessary. I don't need it. It needs to go bye bye off the PC. So, fun stuff, man. It's good to see all of you gearing up heavily. I'm starting to charge all my batteries for this 20th drone meet in Sebastian, Florida, and should be a good time, man. Hoping it's a good time. So we got Rulin in here. What's up, Ru? Rulin, you're gonna like this one a lot because I'm gonna bring something to the table that I found really amusing after putting some serious thought into. Is the DJI FPV drone special? Is it special, or is it already trying to do what something already did a while ago? This is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So, for those of you guys that have ever seen a 3DR solo, it's a very unique bird in its own right. I'm going to pull mine out here, show you guys. 6.5 years ago, 3DR introduced this drone to the world, and when it came out, it was trash. It was garbage. It sucked. The firmware was horrible. The team that stood behind it just had zero marketing ability. This drone sucked. It absolutely sucked. It was a horrible trash drone, big, lunky GPS unit, but it had redeeming features. It had redeeming features. Solo is life. No, Ruland, we're going to take that a step further from sport mode. So for those of you guys who don't know, this GPS drone in sport mode, average battery, had the capability to fly 60 plus miles an hour. But if you put it in Acro, you could fly way faster. Yeah, you heard what I said. This 6.5-year-old drone, 6.5 years ago, was doing what the DJI drone is capable of doing today. But this, I think, still might do it better. I kept running this through my head like, I don't understand. I've seen this before. This isn't the first time a company's attempted this. And then it hit me that this drone has full Acro capabilities. It is a 4.5-pound animal with a ton of torque and a lot of power. And if you put the biprops on it, the triprops, you can actually fly this thing in full manual FPV. But what sets this apart from the DJI drone is that it actually has a full capable gimbal. And if you go into Mission Planner, you can tune this gimbal for the type of flying style that you want to do with ArduCopter or ArduPilot. You go into Mission Planner, you look up the ArduPilot forum, and then you read through and you make all the changes you want to the PID tuning, the camera, the gimbal. You tell it what you want it to do. You have multi-function buttons on the transmitter to make the buttons do whatever you want those to do. So we're going to talk about that. The first thing I want to talk about, we're getting back to the solo because I don't think people realize this has already been done 6.5 years ago. So is the DJI drone really something special? And I think the solo might actually do it better. There's a few things that need to be addressed. Obviously, when the solo came out, it was running Wi-Fi. Okay, it's 2.4 Wi-Fi. You're never going to get past that. That's what it transmits in. But still, I've taken this out miles and never had a problem. Also, the GPS rescue functionality, the RTL, can be set up in Mission Planner in case you lose signal while flying Acro. Automatically go into RTL, stop itself, go up to its designated position, and then start its return journey and land in front of you. So it has all the same capabilities that the DJI drone has, but a better gimbal system, more aggressive. It's just a better all-around platform still today. It's weird to think that way because people are like, dude, that's really old tech. Is it really old tech? Dude, there's an HDMI port that plugs right into the front of this for HD streaming to your goggles. That plugs in right here to my Fat Sharks. Holy cow. It was ahead of its time. This is the bird that for like the longest period of time I've been trying to tell you has been way ahead of its time. It's so advanced that not only can you do Acro, but you can set up each individual mode to the user's liking and settings on the fly by transition buttons, A and B. You can make these pause. You actually have a physical pause button, break and pause button. Do you see what's happening here? It's almost like DJI copied the idea of what the Solo was already capable of doing. It just released the idea in a smaller platform package 6.5 years later. It's the identical process. Everything about it, except I can set up multifunction switches. So if I want to go into instant RTL, if I freak out, I go, oh my God, B, boom, stop, stabilizes, holds its position in space. If I want to pause the brake and slam the absolute ever-living shit brakes on for it, pause, stops everything it's doing at that instant, goes up to RTL and starts its return home journey. This has already been done 6.5 years ago. This was done by a company that I think actually understood Acro and does it better. So I'm not really that impressed. I'm not impressed. I'm sorry. I can run newer GoPros on my Solo and get better footage than the DJI FPV drone and set up the drone to how I want it to fly. You're still running into the same issue. Made of plastic, just like the DJI drone. Could this take a gnarly hit? Nope. Same principle. Could it take a gnarly hit? The fact that it had full Acro capabilities that were tunable PIDs, like very tunable in ArduPilot, is incredible to me. This was so advanced and so ahead of its time that people still don't realize that today. That's why this drone has such a massive following of people behind it that continue on keeping this drone airborne, because it's a one-of-a-kind drone. It was doing stuff that you're just now seeing hit the market today, but 6.5 years ago. Sorry, my autofocus is having an issue here today. So I thought that would be fun to kind of show you guys, but I think I'm going to take this a step further. I'm actually going to I'm going to add a little bit of tech to this, and I'm going to install an actual FPV camera rig on 5.8 on this instead of functioning on Wi-Fi. So I'll be recording in HD through the GoPro on my screen settings, adjusting everything that I want to. I'll set up the camera and the gimbal to function how I want it to. So if I go into a 360 barrel loop, I want it to lock the camera into place, hold it, and then go all the way around. And when it realizes that it reaches its level point, it'll release the camera again to stabilize the footage. I can do all of that with this drone without having to have electronic image stabilization built in. But if I wanted to run a Hero 7, I could also do that. This is a multifunction platform. It just is better than the DJI drone. Is it as fast? Nope. Have we seen these things go pretty fast in Acro? Yes. Fully loaded? No. You're going to get about 70, 75 miles an hour out of it. 6.5 years ago, that was pretty intense, and I think it's still pretty intense for most GPS pilots by today's standards. So I'm going to rig this with an actual FPV system. And then I'm going to go into ArduPilot and I'm going to make the necessary adjustments to lock the gimbal out and do things on the A and B buttons on the transmitter so that you guys can see. I will not only do that, I'll do it with a true FPV setup, but I'll also attempt to fly it in Acro with the latency that it has on Wi-Fi in my goggles naturally as it sits using just the camera. When I do that, I am going to lock the gimbal at the angle that I want. Now, the fun thing about the Solo is that it has a roller switch at the top so I can lock my pre-angle, just like the DJI FPV drone. Imagine that. It's got the same thing on it. Okay, but I can also tilt on the fly, the same principle that it can as well. I can tilt on the fly with the tilt switch. It is, in essence, a smaller version of this, but I think the Solo might actually do it better. And we're going to put that to the test. Can 6.5-year-old tech go against the DJI FPV drone? I can tell you right now, you're going to get a lot longer flight times out of the DJI drone. You're going to get more range, but will it outperform functionality-wise? Will it outperform this 6.5-year-old bird? I'm going to take a shot in the dark, knowing what I know about this machine, and say probably not. I don't think it's going to be able to outperform the Solo when it comes to functionality, settings, and usability. It's a way more complicated platform, whereas the DJI is much simpler. Those of you that don't want to jump into something that has this much pizzazz and tuning it and getting into Mission Planner and learning all the protocols and adjusting those things, it's more like beta flight now. It's more FPV oriented stuff. You're not going to be like pull this thing out of the box and just think you're going to go out and fly Acro. It doesn't work that way. This will require some tuning to each person that wants to fly it, but you can pick up a 3DR Solo today for $200 on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, ready to rip tater chip, out of the box, ready to rip tater chip. So $200, $1,500, $200, $1,500, and I'll make you a bet this does better. The 3DR Solo will most likely outperform the DJI drone. Speed and distance, not. Battery life. Those are the three things it's going to fail at. This is a heavy drone. It's a bulky mass to fly. It's a big brick. But I think it's actually probably going to produce smoother footage. If I know the Solo, and I know that they probably have a rendition of free flow flying built into the software, it's probably going to look a lot smoother on a GoPro than DJI could perform out of that camera rig that's currently on that setup. So that's what we're going to do. When I get back from the drone meet, I recover from my surgery. That whole time, I'm going to be rigging this to fly FPV. And when I release that video, I want to see what the DJI haters have to say about 6.5-year-old 3DR Solo technology. Because I have a feeling you're going to be pretty mind blown when I release this puppy in the air. I think it's going to be a good time. Don't forget amazing sound. It does. It sounds like a B-17 bomber coming in to just wreak havoc. It's very loud. It lets you know that it is superior in the air, and it definitely has a presence. It's a very fun drone to fly at high rates of speed. It's very noisy. It's a lot of fun. It scares the living crap out of people when this thing starts carving through the air. But man, it's such a gnarly sound. It's like a Toyota Supra. It's that one sound that no matter where you're at, you can tell it's a 2JZ twin turbo popping, banging, and letting loose. That's what I can instantly tell when a Solo's in the air just by the noise the props make and the sound while it's airborne. So I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this video, but I just want to point out this has been done before. This is not the first GPS platform out of the box to have Acro, tunable Acro, and adjustable gimbal settings, not just one axis. It's got the whole shebang. It's got the whole shebang. Plus, I can choose my GoPro I want to run. It's pretty hard to argue with that, man. Open source will always run the drone world. It just will. Proprietary is not nearly as good as being open source and getting rid of all the restrictions that are holding you back. I've been trying to tell people this for a long time. Get away from proprietary drones. The Solo used to be proprietary, but then they released all the open source stuff on GitHub, and it's just made it such an amazing, fantastic product with the entire team of people, a whole massive group of people behind this product, having fun, designing new technology for it, constantly moving the Solo forward in a positive direction. So, hi, Dan. Already test new DJI FPV drone? I have not. I don't need to. I've seen enough footage. I've heard enough people talk about it. I kind of assumed it was exactly what it was going to be. I didn't really need to put my hands on it to figure that out. Plus, I'm sorry to say, anybody that bought it, I'm not silly enough to spend that money on something like that. I can home build for way cheaper and get way better results. Look, man, to all of you out there thinking about FPV, just learn. Just go out, do a little research, talk to some FPV guys that really fly and do this daily. And I think you'll find the transition's a lot easier than you thought it was. Maybe 4 years ago, when everybody had to just have beta flight and you had to learn all this extra stuff, it was more complicated. Now it's become a lot simpler with Flight One, Emu Flight. There's so much software available now for easy tuning to get you immediately up in the air on a home built quad. There's directions. There's entire walkthroughs of how to build these things on YouTube. Just trust me. Start flying. Get into the complicated stuff. Enjoy it. Evolve yourself as a hobbyist and evolve your skill set. Do not buy the DJI FPV drone. I also want to point out that almost 70% of the people now that I know that have purchased this have already crashed it and waiting on a return, or have already gotten another one because they backed up their first one. Guys, you're bypassing everything that we had to learn as FPV guys with this drone, and it's teaching you really bad flying stuff. It's not the same. It's just not the same. You're not learning real Acro FPV unless you're actually throwing the switch. And I can even tell you now, that's a hulk of a bird, bro. Trying to cruise that thing around. Our home builds are much lighter, function easier. You don't want to jump behind the sticks of a 1,000cc sport bike. You would always start with a 250 and work your way up to something that goes 80 miles an hour. You wouldn't just jump on it. There are people in this hobby. Night Train, he's one of them that just started on 6S, went for it. Get some sim time, get behind the sticks, learn how to fly real FPV. The DJI drone is not what you want. I promise you, unless you're just looking for very, 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 very specific things to do with it, like long range, perfect for that kind of stuff. Oh my God, long range, it would just be amazing for going up mountainsides. But you have to admit that the modes, the standard modes, normal mode, don't look natural. They don't look natural. They don't look smooth when you're flying an FPV. It looks herky, jerky, yanky, ganky. It's all over the place. It just doesn't have a natural feel of FPV. It looks weird. It looks very strange. For those of you guys that have been watching the footage, it's a weird look. Now, when you switch into full acro, totally different. It looks really smooth, but at the cost of what? One crash and it's over? You have to think about these things, man. Now, if you're doing long range flying, you're not planning to get close to trees, perfect. Take that sucker out in the mountains and just let her rip, tater chip. Chase boats all day, out over the water. We don't have to worry about hitting anything. These are reasons to have it, right? So all I'm saying is don't get the DJI drone. It's not what you think it is. It's just not, and it's going to teach you really bad flying habits. It will. Any real FPV pilot that takes it out is going to tell you straight up, this is going to teach you some really bad habits. It just is. It's end of story. Every single person I've seen fly this, they've been wowed by the technology, but to them, it's not really their thing. And they get it. They understand why, because they know that one crash, this thing's toast. It's just done. So I will, by the way, I'm reading all the comments as we go. You're the greatest, big bro. Well, thank you. Chris, how's it going, man? We'll say hi to a few people. Patriot RC, what's up, dude? Start with something small, work your way to the top. You're going to crash a lot. Get some sim time in. Once you get through that phase, oh my God, the possibilities that open up to you with real FPV, you'll park your GPS drone. It'll end up on a shelf. 90% of the people that switch to FPV go, I'm going to go fly today. Am I going to bring my GPS drone or am I going to bring my FPV rig? I think you'll find that probably 90% of the people end up putting their GPS drone on a shelf and their FPV rig goes with them. It all depends on the type of tech that you want, the flying style, but one is way more exhilarating than the other one. And that's just how it works, man. That's adrenaline at its finest. You're dumping massive amounts of dopamine in your system sitting in a lawn chair, just being in a pair of goggles. Kind of mind-blowing what you get from FPV. And it actually, it helps my eyes too. My eyes are able to pick things out much faster. My reaction time has gone up. Crazy how fast my reaction time is to things now. I can just see things happening before they happen sometimes. It's really weird. It's weird how it trains your senses. So I'm telling you, man, don't do it to yourself. Crash a lot. Learn properly. Get something you can beat up, bang up, not worry about. And then you'll go, okay, I'm ready for a DJI long-range FPV drone because I'm going to put it in Acro. I'm not even going to use the standard modes. I'm going to take a sucker out in the mountains and just have fun. You know you're not going to crash. Get your skill set to that point. You won't even have to stress it. But do not sit here and convince yourself that it's a good drone. It's not. This has been done 6.5 years ago. It's funny to me that people are like, had no idea that 3DR Solo could even do this type of stuff. It came out of the box this way 6.5 years ago. 7 years ago now. I think it's like 7 years ago. It came out of the box this way. You could fly full manual Acro with a 4.5-pound GPS bird in HD. It's got almost the identical functionality minus the sensors. It doesn't have all that. And there's no ADS-B to be like, oh, look, an airplane. Don't fly that high. FPV is not really about the high cruising. That's more GPS-oriented people. You find FPV like to stay a lot closer to the ground. Solo can rip through trees, man. There's tons of videos of people ripping the Solo in FPV, and it looks crazy. It looks gnarly. Now, there's a difference. You'll see some people do it in stabilized, and then you'll see some people do it full acro. The people that are flying it full acro have a very good skill set, and they know what they're doing. The people that are flying it in stabilized mode, it's kind of like that beginner mode on DJI. It looks cool, and it really depends on whether they have the gimbal on it or they have the standard GPS or the standard GoPro mount on the bottom. You can make the footage look really clean with the gimbal on it, or you can just slap a GoPro on the bottom of it and not have any access to it at all. Just start it and go, and you'll see all the shakes and wobbles. Like, it's fun. It's a fun drone because it gives you options. You're not just stuck with one thing. You have tons of options available to you. So I believe this is FPV literal way, not an FPV race drone, not true FPV pilots. The drone footage, I get that. However, have you seen any of their marketing campaigns for this thing? There's dudes on the top of skyscrapers ripping it in full acro, going around the skyscraper and power looping the thing. Not one of those videos that they showed was this thing flying in normal mode, unless they were cruising one straight line with it. The representation for this drone is totally off. The marketing campaign was a huge deception. They are not expecting people in GPS world to fly this thing in full manual acro mode. And that's how they presented it to people. It was like, you can get into FPV by buying this. I would not put anyone that's never flown faster than 40 miles per hour Behind the sticks, 55. I would say even 55 miles an hour. Behind the sticks is something that instantly goes 80 miles an hour in 2 seconds or less. What? 80. You're killing people, man. You're taking out property. You're injuring things. You're breaking. Like, it's just, I just wouldn't do it. It's like you want to see what it would be like. Go to any sport bike shop, any place that sells sport bikes, and go in and say, hey, I want to get 1,000cc sport bike. I want to buy 1,000cc sport bike. And they're going to take you over the sport bikes. Go, yeah, how long you been riding? You go, never. Tell me they're going to sell you the bike. I would love to see anyone going to a motorcycle place. I don't care how downgraded, low income the place is, going to any motorcycle shop, tell them you want to walk out with 1,000cc sport bike, never having ridden before, and see what they say. They're probably not going to sell you the bike. And if they do, they don't care about your life. That's just what it is. I'm honest. I'm going to tell you like it is, man. Sorry. I'm blunt. I'm here to tell you what it is. Dude, Minister, heck yeah, bro. Got himself a truck today. That's what I'm talking about. See, drone footage gets it. Yeah. Anybody who's ever ridden a motorcycle, you're not going to walk into a shop, never having ridden or touched a sport bike, be like, let me get a 1400 Kawasaki. They're going to look at you like, have you ever ridden one of these before? Do you understand the amount of power that's under this? Like, that's intelligent people giving you a good explanation of how things work. That's somebody who's like, I don't want to send this guy out of here with something that's going to kill him instantly. That's how I feel about the DJI FPV drone, and that's how they introduced it to you guys. Like, you can fly FPV. Ooh, gosh, boy, that didn't go over well, did it? We're seeing a lot of crashes from GPS pilots in the first week, man. I think most of the FPV guys knew that was going to happen. And yet they buy another one, or they get one from their care refresher, like, yeah, we're not going to do that again. And then they go out and they still try to fly in between trees and standard normal mode, going 60 miles an hour, cut a corner, it drifts into the corner, smashes into another tree. The only person you have to be mad at yourself at that point is you. You're not taking the proper learning curve. You're not doing things right. So, sorry. I'm honest. What can I say? You know? Fur, what's up, dude? Daddy's money. Well, we know a lot of people like that too. So I don't think it's going to mainstream. People. Well, my biggest concern is that because this thing is branded FPV, people are going to go out and start creating serious problems for people that actually fly full manual acro and try to get the hell away from everyone. When I go out and fly, I try to get away from everyone, dude. I don't go to parks like, this is a nice place. GPS people do that because that's where they're used to flying. So they're going to show up at a park where there's a lot of people and cruise around. I'm going to fly over my neighborhood. You know, like they do things that don't make sense because that's how they've trained themselves to be. I'm a GPS pilot, so I'm going to go do these things because this is what I naturally know. You know what I'm saying? Those people are going to crash and then they're going to be like, oh, an FPV drone killed somebody today. Now, who do you think takes the rap for that? You think the GPS guys are going to get powwowed with that, or you think the FPV guys are going to get hit with that? Because I go the fuck out of my way to make sure I'm not around anyone when I fly drones. Or we make it super clear with those people when we show up, hey guys, we're going to be flying drones. If you don't want us to in this area, just let us know. We'll transition over here. We'll do this. I talk to everyone before we get out there. That's just how it needs to be. But, you know, GPS guys, they just put up like, I can fly here. It's Class G airspace. Watch me fly by drone. The FAA says I can, so I'm going to. And that's what they do. And then they crash. And they break shit. And then they hurt people. And they injure property. Like, just please, if you're going to fly this thing, be smart. Don't make the FPV guys take the rap for it. Most of us try to get the hell away from everyone when we fly because we know how dangerous these quads are. We know what they can do to somebody, so we try to stay the hell away from people. We're just not. Unless everybody signs a waiver or we're doing something that we're hired for, whatever the case is, we try not to put ourselves in the mix of people. We go out to places, we call our soft targets, say, hey, man, there's a soft target in the field. That person will then immediately veer off and start heading back in another direction. We have a spotter there that's going to help assist. There's just things that we do to keep it safe, man. We're not the skateboarders of the community like everybody makes us out to be, okay? We're not. So, anyways, guys, you're a great teacher. Well, thank you. No, I just make people think. I try to bring the logic out in everything so that people see the logic and they're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't think about that. That's what I'm here for. I like to put things in perspective for people. So, So anyways, back to the original point, I believe, and the other thing I want to do is try to take this transmitter apart and see if I can remove that spring, because this is a very heavy spring. It'll be hard to fly full manual having to control the spring like this. That's something I will definitely have to get used to. That's a very heavy spring. So I'll probably have to remove that spring just for the manual flying to do the video and then put the spring back in. It's very easy to take apart, so I'm not really worried about that. I've taken these apart. You just pull a little spring out, and then when you're done, you just put the spring back with a pair of needle nose. So I can do that. That's easy. So, yes. Hey, Carlos, what's up, dude? So anyways, guys, be expecting that here future sometime. Something I have to take a little time to set up and make sure that I understand everything about the Acro mode on the solo before I just jump right into this and wing it. That normally doesn't end too well, and I'd like to come out of this with a fully functioning bird without having to replace another solo. So definitely give me a little time to make sure that I've got everything set up exactly how I want it and everything's functioning. The 5.8 is not interfering with the 2.4. I need to make sure everything's going to go smoothly here. So should be a good time. The video should be a lot of fun, and I'm going to compare it to the DJI FPV drone, and you guys tell me which one looks smoother. Just to have fun, I'm going to do it with a Hero 4 Black, shooting at 4K at 30 frames per second. Old school technology with linear mode active and super view. I'll do it with 2015 tech, and we'll still run it and see what happens. Gonna make it look smoother. I can almost guarantee I'm gonna make it look smoother. So guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for popping in. I've been reading through the comments here. FPV pilots are asshats. Yes, sir. The SEAL Team 6 of pricks. Gentlemen, it's good to see you. By the way, we're probably going to create another hashtag for the people that are totally, brutally, blunt, honest on their channels. If you want to know who those people are, I think we're going to do hashtag Prick Nation. Are you down with that, Carlos? I think if you entertain the idea of never being lied to and you just want honesty all the time, people's honest opinion, and you want to see those videos, I would say just look up hashtag Prick Nation. And moving forward, there's going to be 2 hashtags that currently run every single one of my videos. You're going to see hashtag Prick Nation, and you're going to see hashtag Do It for Rick. So that's what we're going to do. The SEAL Team 6 of pricks. And we need to start that show, by the way, Carlos. We need to get out here and do it, man. We need to do it. There needs to be more honesty on this platform. No more of this bullshit lying. I have a lot of respect for certain people right now, currently, because they're actually being honest about this product. They're not just like trying to sell it. Rotor right. Sorry, man. I had to cough real fast, get that out of my system. But yeah, so let's have some fun, man. Let's make this a fun thing. Make it a challenge. It doesn't have to be personal. We can just have fun. We'll just see which one gets better. So, hashtag Prick Nation. Run with it. If you want to see what we do moving forward, just look up that hashtag in the search bar, and you'll find all of the people that are part of Prick Nation that are going to be bluntly honest with you and just don't care about people's personal feelings. We just lay it all on the table. If you don't like it, well, cupcake, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. So Mike B, aka the Drone Ranger, is in here. D-Man 52, as always, sir. Matt, the Beast from the East. Beast from the Northeast. Carlos, it is good to see you. Let me track back just a little bit before we close this out. Say hi to people. Rue's been in here since the beginning. Drone Days. We got Bob in here. Hi, bro. What's up? Oh, we got aka These Nuts. Ryan is in here, man. Hey, Dan, I'm headed back to work. Just dropping my like. Wee. Sounds good, bro. Drone guy, drone footage. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody here. I think we've had just about the same crowd the whole time. We had up to like 22 people, 23 people, somewhere around there. But yeah, so this was full honesty. Mobility today. So how good is the simulator if I put it 3 to 6 months? Will I still kill my FPV? Well, I mean, mobility, if you're still here, bud, I've been flying FPV now for 3 years. And I didn't really do too much simming. I did when I first got started, but then my controller didn't work with like all the main ones that were out there. And I've purchased all of them. Liftoff, I've purchased all of them, but I need to get a little better transmitter if I want to use the sims. I learned by crashing. So, and I think a lot of other people did too. Would I say that in 3 to 6 months you would still kill your FPV DJI system? Probably not. I think by then you would have a good enough handle on Acro if you flip the switch and start learning today. Now, you're gonna crash most likely. You're gonna burn that thing to the ground, and it'll be over in like 10 seconds, and you'll be like, "Holy crap! I just burned $1,500." So, yeah. Nick GB, sup, mate? Hope you're good. I'm surviving. Fleabag as always, dude. You've been here forever. So, Jody, I missed you. Sorry, bud, if you're still in here. It's good to see you. All right, that's pretty much everybody. Let's go back to the bottom. Yeah. All right. So, most people start with whoops. They don't even go into the sims. They start with whoops, and I have one. I have a little F4 Pro, which I currently need to hook a receiver up to because it had that crappy board it came with that broke real easy. But yeah, so DC Drone X. I hate DJI FPV simulator. I recommend DRL. I do too. Get behind a real simulator. Trust me, if you're gonna try, make the attempt to fly your DJI drone in Acro and you've never done it before, do not use the sim. I don't care, don't use it. Get a functioning Velocidrone, lift off, get a real sim and get a transmitter capable of connecting to it. Even if you purchase a FlySky i6 or FrSky i6 transmitter for $40 on eBay, brand new, okay? Just trust me. Cut the little trainer cord in the back, plug it into your PC and USB, turn it on, set it up. It's very simple and cheap. Learn how to fly Acro. Don't just try it. Oh my God, that never goes good for anybody. Anybody, it never goes good. You don't believe me? I have original Dobo on my channel over a year ago, and I pulled out all my drones one day and I called up Dobo, Ken Dono, and I said, Ken, come out and fly my shit. Learn how to fly FPV. I don't care if you break everything. Come out and fly. You'll have the most fun you've ever had. And I have that video available if anybody wants to see it. Original Dobo met us out at the park. I handed my equipment over to him and I let him fly. And by the end of the day, this kid was cruising around having a fucking blast. When he left, he immediately purchased a drone and he hasn't looked back since. So Dobo is still flying. He still loves it. He's communicating and he's being honest with all of you guys. Even though he does sell the drone at DroneWorks, he's still being pretty honest. And I give him props for that. So, yes, there you go. Good times. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here. I will catch you guys on the flip. Thanks for stopping in. Don't forget to smash the like button. Be looking forward to that solo video here. I'm going to try to put it out within the month. That way people can see. I understand everything is going to die off already based on the DJI drone, but I want to make sure I really understand the solo so I don't crash and smash this bird. This is one of my favorite rigs I've ever had so far. Out of all the ones that I've had, this is my favorite. It functions the best. It's just an amazing one. So I don't really want to break it if I can, but it is what it is. All right. I will catch you. No, definitely not Ken Heron. Original Dobo, buddy. Ken Dono. I have a couple challenge videos to Ken to get him flying. I told Ken Heron at one point, like a year ago, I was like, Ken, I challenge you to fly FPV. And then a week later, he got with Josh Bardwell. They built one and then they put out a rig. So I don't know how much pull I had in the majority of that, but I definitely know I got Dobo flying and he hasn't looked back since. So if you guys watch Original Dobo and you like the content he's putting out, he started GPS. He looked really bored. I reached out to him. I was like, dude, you look bored. Let me introduce you to something that'll blow your fucking mind. And he hasn't looked back since. So if that tells you anything about how this hobby works and FPV, real FPV, he's being honest. If he's telling you something about the DJI drone right now, he's being honest. He feels the same way I do, probably, but he still has to sell these things, and I understand that too. So let's see the video of Ken Dobo flying. All you have to do actually is go to Drone Worship Original Dobo, and I think you'll see all the videos that we've done together. You're looking for the one with a face black and white with a question mark. Did Original Dobo show up to smash and crash? And he did. I was impressed. He came out. So he definitely came out and flew with us. I think I can find it. If you really want me to drop it, I will. Hold on a sec. Yep, here it is. Click on this. God, dude, this was almost 2 years ago. This was 2019 that we got Dobo into flying. What is this? November of 2019. So yeah, it's been a while, man. That's crazy how long it's been. But yeah, here you go. Paste. There you go. That's the link. Click on it now because I'm about to end this thing. If you want to check it out or copy the link or whatever you do, that would be the video. So 2019, man, I can't believe me and him have been flying that long. So maybe almost 2 years now. But it took him, I will be honest with you, his skill set grew exponentially fast. Ken also has the money to buy kind of whatever he wants to, whereas Dan just kind of doesn't. I pay too many medical bills and I can't afford to crash, smash, bash all the time. I fix when I have to, I crash when it's inevitable. But if I can avoid it, I do. So Ken definitely, his skill set exponentially took off. Ken definitely has the money to fix his repair, buy all the new stuff. Dan does not have that accessibility available to him. I have been a struggle the past 10 years of my adult life with medical conditions, so I don't have that kind of excess cash to throw around. So it took me a lot longer to get where I'm at in FPV than it did him. People that crash a lot learn faster. I try to avoid crashing as much as possible, but it does happen. I don't go out intentionally to hit really, really, really tiny gaps 20 times in a row until I get it once. I'll try it a couple times. If it doesn't work, then I move on with life. I'm not trying to smash and bash. I can't afford it. Not all the time, anyways. So, alrighty, guys. No, always have, man. Facts. You will always get facts on this channel. So, I'm out. Thank you for stopping in. Thanks for being awesome. Looking forward to that video. I will see all of you that are going to be at the 20th Drone Meet in Sebastian, Florida. I'm leaving on the 19th. I'll be showing up around 11:30, 12 noon. I think I'm going to get up with Carlos and Mitch and a few other guys, figure out where we're going to fly some FPV for the day, go rip, and then I'm going to wake up on the 20th, probably show up there around maybe 9 a.m., 10 a.m. We'll see. I may just actually go to the spot early in the morning and finish camping out there. That way I can be there when everybody starts showing up and cook breakfast and be a dickhead and eat breakfast in front of everybody on my stove and just, yeah, you like that? None for you. Sorry. I'm a fat guy. Get off me. I'll catch you guys on the flip, man. Yeah, take that rail.